Sara Sultana, please.
Thank you, Chair. It is a pleasure to serve under your chairmanship. I'd like to begin by congratulating my honourable friends, the members for Liverpool Wavertree, Birkenhead and Luton South, for securing this debate. An extra £16 billion for the military, £37 billion for the private test and trace system, and billions more in dodgy contracts handed to Tory donors. But for nurses, just £3.50 a week. The Prime Minister says it's all we can afford. But the fortunes handed to arms dealers, Serco bosses, and the Health Secretary's former neighbour and pub landlord tell us something different. When inflation is factored in, the 1% pay rise for NHS workers is really a pay cut, from clapping for carers to cutting their pay. Even for this government, this is shameful. While Tory donors have been getting rich off this pandemic, it's been NHS workers getting us through it. On the front lines, nurses, doctors, cleaners and porters, all of our healthcare workers have been truly incredible, battling the virus, working overtime, enduring stress and trauma. Nearly 1,000 health and social care staff are estimated to have died from the virus, with workers too often not provided with the protective equipment they needed. Nearly half of intensive care staff report symptoms of PTSD, severe depression, or anxiety. And all of this after a decade of NHS staff being overworked and underpaid, with nursing vacancies in the Midlands alone standing at 7,500 and paid down as much as 30% for some staff. And now 2 in 3 nurses have to work overtime to pay the bills, according to research. And reports of nurses forced to rely on food banks are far from uncommon. Tory ministers call them heroes. They clapped for them while cameras were watching, but now they think they can get away with cutting their pay. They pit NHS workers against other workers, saying if one group has had their pay frozen, it's not fair for another group to have their pay raised. They say if private sector workers are losing their jobs, others should make sacrifices too. It's classic divide and rule tactics, an attempt to turn working people against each other, leaving all of us worse off, while their donors and wealthy mates laugh all the way to the bank. So here's an alternative plan. Instead of spending billions more on new weapons of war or more fortunes to private test and trace consultants, we could give NHS workers the pay rise they deserve, 15% to make up for a decade of lost pay. Instead of letting tax dodging run riot and corporate greed dominate, we could bring in a new windfall tax to make the likes of Amazon pay their fair share and raise the pay of all of our key workers, public sector and private alike. Mr. Chairman, NHS workers are always there for us. Now it's our turn to stand with them. Thank you.